Oh yeah, so today we are here to pick up a high priority manifest freight train for a 130-mile road trip to Bakersfield, California with this here, the BNSF 9107 SD70 ACE. Yeah, it's gonna be looking at about 6 to 8 hours depending on how traffic is and if I get tired and things like that. But if you're familiar with it, you may have noticed that yes, today we are rocking Run 8 Train Simulator, and in my opinion, and in many people's opinion, possibly the most realistic freight train simulator to ever exist currently. But it's been a long time coming. You guys have been asking me to make a video about this train sim, and so today we're doing that and some. We got a long trip today. We gotta get that train set up and ready and prepped for departure. We are on the Depot Plus multiplayer server, so we'll talk more about all of those things. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of things happening. Let's first start by getting these trains set up and ready for departure. And to do that, what we're gonna do is actually we're gonna jump over to I want to click on the local itself. This is the quick, easy way to get the train started. We're not going to go through like the realistic startup process today, which I think you can to an extent. But to click on the logo here, it's going to pop up in bright, ugly red, and we'll now see the screen on the right side. We can hit auto start all engines or all locomotives. We'll do that. You can hear the engine starting up. So we'll click on the lead locomotive again, and we'll click on Auto MU and DP. We'll double check to make sure it's done it right, and we'll also click on Auto CV, which stands for circuit breakers, and Auto EOT for end of train device. Now I'll do the brakes myself. You can also see here we have plenty of fuel in the lead locomotive, and then down here is our actual train symbol, H-BARBAK, which basically means this is a high priority manifest train, which is what H means. And we are in Barstow, and we're going to BAK Bakersfield. And then the rest is just the date. All right, let's hop into the lead locomotive and make sure that we're all ready to go in here. We have our rail driver we're using today, which I think is a must-have for train simming, especially American train simming. But I have my reverser set to neutral here, our throttle also set to idle. All right, now I have my brake all the way up. We're actually gonna go ahead and release those brakes. We'll pull that back. You can hear the brakes now releasing. And right now sitting on the independent brake, and we'll put our lights to dim for now because we're not quite ready to leave just yet. You can see here, we have the flow going up, brake pipe showing there. We're also showing how much we have in the rear, and that's slowly climbing up. That is going to take some time, so we're going to have to allow the brakes some time to release. Engine run, engine field switches, fuel pump is all on. That's all good to go. And as you saw earlier, we already set all the circuit breakers up from the outside view, so we're good to go on that as well. So let's hop back outside, and we'll do a bit of a train walk and make sure everything is set up and ready to go. It is definitely a little loud out here, so I do apologize for that. I do have the butt kicker running too on my chair, so I can actually feel the rumble of these engines as I walk by them, which is pretty cool. So as we walk through the train, we're just gonna make sure that all of our air hoses are connected, our angle cocks are all good, and there's no leaking hoses. No, the brakes are obviously slowly releasing and whatnot, but we want to make sure that everything is connected as they should be. Then we have some grain hoppers here, quite a few of them actually. And trust me, if you have like a leaking hose or maybe one of your hoses are just not connected, you will actually hear the hissing sound, especially if we have any brakes applied, which right now we're releasing them, so but there still be a little bit of air running through the pipes through the system. So as you saw up front, we had the SD70 and a couple -9s, but here in the center of the train actually, so you have some power from Norfolk Southern. This is the ES44, followed by another ES44 from Union Pacific, and then we have a BNSF SD70 as well. So again, 6 locomotives are going to be pulling this train. We have 3 in the front and we have 3 in the middle, and then the rest of this is going to be the additional freight. Again, mostly loaded freight cars. We do have a few empties, about 25 empties, I believe. All right, final 3 cars, and everything is looking pretty good so far from what I can tell. Everything's connected as it needs to be. These tank cars in the back are all actually they're all empty. And here is our EOT in the back. So everything looks good. We are basically ready for departure. You can hear a train actually rolling up right now. Got the piggybacks, UPS piggybacks on there. Hey, I just can't help for a little train spotting. Alright, so I think we're okay. I can click on South Departure Yard here. This will be our exit. Again, we'll follow this dotted line till we see South Departure here. We'll go ahead and click on this junction there. And that should... Actually, you know what? We gotta first block this signal here. So set a red signal here by clicking on it. That's why this is flashing. Once this signal goes red, we can then click on this block and give us the switch here. Now we're gonna have to go up to main 1 and then hop over to this line here to take us to Hinckley to get out of the Barstow area. So we're gonna have to actually wait for this train to completely clear this track anyways. He's going south to Cajon, to the Cajon sub towards LA. So we're actually not gonna be following him, which is actually good because he actually might slow us down. But we're good to go up to this signal. I'm gonna go ahead and set our South Departure track there. That's good to go. Okay, back in the cab, and we're gonna go ahead and set our reverser to forward. Note the time, 7:53 a.m. That is local time here in Barstow, California. And then we'll go ahead and we'll make sure our lights are kind of set to dim. We'll leave them at dim while we're in the yard, and we'll go ahead and add a little bit of throttle here. Just 1 notch. That's enough right there. All right, maybe 2. I only want 1. Thank you. The rail driver can kind of be a little weird like that sometimes. And we'll go ahead and slowly release our brake. Not much of an incline or a hill here in the Barstow yard, which is nice. So slowly bringing back the independent brake. Couple of notches on the horn there. And we'll go into notch 2. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are rolling. Again, we'll take it nice and slow here. There it is, EOT move. That's what I like to see. You do want to be careful here in run 8. Again, the reason why I say it's one of the most realistic train sims is because you do have to watch out for your coupler, braking couplers and things like that. If you pull off too fast, like we typically do in Train Sim World and Train Simulator, just kind of going from notch 0 to notch 8, you know what I mean? Doing stuff like that will break the train in half, and I want to avoid that. So we are in the yard, so we're going to probably keep our speed underneath about, I don't know, 15, 10 miles per hour here. We won't need to go that fast. I think we should now be clear. That train should now be clear. Yes, so right here, this is main 1. That train that we were looking at, the red blocks show where the train is. NYC LAC, that's an AI train actually. He's heading out, so he's already cleared the track, cleared the main. We're gonna come out of South Departure. I'm gonna go ahead and click right here. Actually, you know what? I keep forgetting. I gotta set a red signal first. So we'll set a red signal here at main 3, which is gonna be main 1. And once that goes to red, we'll be able to swap this one here to a allow us to cross over. So just waiting a second. There we go. It's now switched over. So now this is gonna be our departure out here. So South Departure Yard over to main 1, and then we're gonna want to go this way too. So we'll set a red signal there as well. All right, and that junction is now switched over as well. So we're gonna give ourselves, hold on, EOT, or not EOT, alerter. That's gonna happen a lot in our drive today. So back to the map, and we're gonna give ourselves the green light here. So a green light here and a green light here. That's gonna give us green signals out of the departure yard through to main 1 and all the way to Hinckley. And then I'll show you the Mojave sub once we get out of here. Hold on a second. Now this is why you have to pay attention. We're gonna apply some brakes here. About 10 pounds of pressure should be plenty. We going the wrong way. This was not planned. We're going the wrong way. I'm not sure why or how. Apparently there was a switch that I missed. So we need to make sure this does not happen again. So we have to stop and reverse back. All right, there it is. We've made a full stop. I'm gonna put our independent brake back on. We'll release that brake there. We'll honk 3 times to let people know we're going to reverse. Yeah, this is not a shunting video, but it's turning into one. So we're adding some power, going in reverse. We are a bit downhill in this section, but only the first few cars, so it shouldn't be too bad. Into notch 2 to help us pull. Come on, baby. Let's go. Oh, you know what? I'm still in. Wow. Rookie move, chat. Rookie move. All right, let's put this in reverse. Yes, we need to be in reverse for this to work. All right, so into notch 2. We're gonna wait. Tractive effort is climbing. Slowly release the independent brake now, and we should start pulling backwards. We are. Let's take a look outside and see what went wrong. Aha, I see. So the problem was somebody, I don't know who, the last person who was on server left this this switch set the wrong direction. Usually, you know, when you're on these multiplayer servers, it's very important for you to, you know, kind of leave the switches as they were. And normally you wouldn't have one of these switches sending you off to nowhere, right? You want that to go to the main line. So I don't know who did it, but that's something you have to watch out for. I know, you know, everyone makes mistakes. I'm not mad or angry at anybody, but that is the reason why. Now, also, I should have been paying attention. You know, I was looking at the rest of the train and stuff. I should have caught that switch was in the wrong position. Let's go ahead and jump back into. I'm gonna apply our brakes, get it stopped, and we'll get this switch fixed, and we'll get out of Barstow. All right, walk up to the switch here, and we'll just click on it. That'll swap it, and we should now be good. We're all lined up. You see we have the yellow flashing down below to show that we are clear to, not clear, but we're free to, you know, continue at a restricted speed. So let's try this again. We're back into forward. Our brakes are actually releasing now. And you can see we have the brake pressure in the rear is releasing as well. That's why we have that EOT, so we know, you know, are the brakes released in the back of the train? And it's a long train, so you want to make sure that your brakes are all released. So we'll start adding some power back into notch 1, and we are rolling again. Nice. Take 2. Action. And surprisingly, I'm actually already on the dynamic brake, as we are have a little bit of a decline here coming out through the Valley Junction, leaving Barstow headed towards Hinckley through to Mojave. So I think we're good there. I'm going to go ahead and bring that dynamic brake back. And we're basically, I mean, if you notice, there's not really like a particular HUD. I mean, there is. I could turn this on. That'll tell us our actual grade. You can kind of see it on top of your screen there. It shows our grade, the signal aspects, the track speed, things like that. So I think we are now finally clear to go about 40. I have my distance counter counting down to the back of our train. If we look to our right, we might actually see, yeah, we can kind of see the back of the train there. It's just clearing that main line heading towards Cajon Pass right now. Once it does clear, we're free to kind of go track speed, which is going to be 40 at this particular track right now. So yeah, you can see it counting down to 0. Once it gets to 0, that is the end of our train. Our end of our train has passed the point at which I set it, and there's the beep right there. So we'll go ahead and switch to our rail driver and go back into normal throttle mode here, and start adding in some throttle to get a speed up to 40 miles per hour. Now, the speed limits are going to vary throughout the trip today. We'll be traveling through the Mojave Desert, and I believe, if I remember correctly, we might get some pretty decent high speeds up there. And when I say high speeds, I'm not talking about like high speed train high speed. I'm talking like, you know, like 45. You know what I mean? So I got to find out what our actual limit is on this train. I think this particular locomotive is a limit of 70, but we're not limited by the locomotive on speed. We're limited by the actual freight, and I think based on our freight, I want to say I think 45 is probably the fastest we can go. Let's go ahead and go into notch 2 now. I'll double check that and see. Notch 2, we'll wait for our tractive effort to climb and stabilize, and then notch 3. That's good. We're on a slight climb here. Horsepower per ton is showing 3.3, which is actually a very important number when it comes to running in Run 8. Same thing, and honestly, in any train simulator. And basically what that means is, like, this is how much horsepower you have per ton you have. And every section of track or every subdivision has a minimum amount of horsepower per ton. And the one we're driving on now, which is going to be the Mojave Desert, we're going to be the Mojave sub for the majority of our drive today on the way to Bakersfield. But the minimum horsepower per ton, I believe, is 2.3. So I think we're good. We're above that. So we shouldn't have too much problem with the different hills and grades that we're going to be attacking today. But we're going to continue to get our speed up. There's notch 5. Here comes notch 6. Let's pick it up. We have a long drive ahead of us, and I'm not trying to take my time. I'm trying to get there, you know, as efficiently as possible, of course, without breaking the train in half. We will have some defect detectors and things like that come up to help us make sure nothing's wrong with the train. Hopefully, there is nothing wrong with the train. I would prefer not to have to stop and check anything, but if we do, we gotta do what we gotta do. But as you can see out the window, just desert. I mean, there's not much. This is probably the most scenic part of the route. Oh, I take that back. When we get to Tehachapi Pass, that's gonna be pretty cool. And I will walk through with you guys. There it is, passenger 70, freight 70. So actually just 70-mile-per-hour trackage out here. I love that. All right, we are notch 3 and climbing about 13 right now. So we'll stay at notch 3 for now. And there we go. All right, here comes a whistle board. Got a crossing coming up. Got a truck sitting there at the truck stop waiting for us. Coming past Hinckley now. There we go, kill the bell. So we are, you know, now that we're on the road, we're clear for about 55 miles per hour. Again, the track speed is 70, which is really cool. But because of the freight that we have loaded on the back, we are limited to 55 specifically miles an hour. Now I wanted to show you guys a couple of things now that we're on the road, now that things are calming down. Actually, no, it's not calming down. It's another whistle board coming up. Hold on. Okay, grade's going up just slightly. We'll add a little bit more throttle, but I want to show you something while we kind of have a bit of a break in the action. Again, we have a long trip, much to talk about, much to do. Not planning to make any stops, but if we have to, there seems to be plenty of sightings to allow us to do so. Let's go ahead and jump into our map real quick, and I'll show you exactly where we are. So you saw the sign back there that said Hinckley. Well, right here on our map says Hinckley. That's where we are. We are headed from right to left. So you can see all these green dots. These are signals. These are all the green signals we have on the way. Now, there's no trains ahead of us. Now, how would I know if a train's ahead of us? You see up this line above us, you see this green tag with the red block. That means that that block is occupied, or means that there's a train in that block. And if we were to try to drive into that block, we would get a red signal. Hold on, we got alerter. There we go. And so that's that. But what's also pretty helpful is I personally like to use an actual, you know, more graphic track map. So here it is. Here is a PDF or a track map PDF here we can use. You can get this off the depot's website. It is completely for free. But if we go through and scroll through some of these pages, this here, yep, this is the Barstow Yard, and we went up this way. If I go up one more page, we should see, here it is. Hinckley is showing right here. It says a siding. It shows us the length of the sidings. Super important information. As you guys know, we're about 55,000 something feet. So if we want to pull over into a siding somewhere, we have to make sure that it's actually big enough. So for example, the next one we're expecting is Jim Gray, has a siding of 8,000 feet. But right now we are again just passing Hinckley. We passed, I want to say two, or was it three? I think it was two different crossings. These little lines here are the actual crossings. So let me show you how it's done. So we're pulling up to a signal. It's green, of course, but it shows 7601 right there. You see that? 7601. That's milepost 7601. We'll hit our alerter. Let's go to our map. So again, we know we've passed Hinckley because we saw the sign. We know we're going right to left, and here 7601. That's the milepost we found, and that's our exact location. We can expect another road crossing at Harper Lake Road, and then we have a detector at milepost 766. So I'll be having this kind of alongside me. Sometimes I have it on my iPad, sometimes I have it on my second monitor. It just depends which most convenient. But that's what I normally do. I'll have that up just to get an idea, because if you don't do that, it's kind of hard to keep track of where you are. Yes, you could use this map here, but this map has little to no information on it. It's not very helpful, and honestly, only recently have they done an update that actually shows you how long these sidings are. You can see here how many feet are here. But yeah, we're also right here. That's for our train signal. But so far, it should be all clear. There's no traffic in the way, AI or real people. So we should be good to go. Pretty chill for now. All right, we are about an hour and a half into our trip to Bakersfield, and we're actually approaching Mojave, and we have a slowdown coming up right there at 40 miles an hour. We're coming up to the Mojave Junction. That's what I like to hear. Alright, so we've passed the defect detector at milepost 813.0, and as you heard it say, we have no defects. We do have a 0.6 degree grade. We had a 0.8 just a little bit ago, so we had our throttle back into notch 8. Speed limit is now 40. We don't actually allow the speed to come back. We have a 25 mile per hour speed reduction coming up very soon as we approach the Mojave Junction over here. It's actually near the air base, I believe. You see a lot of, I think you see a lot of NASA activity out here or something like that. I'm not really sure, but we do have a speed limit here. We have to be crossing a junction, bring our speed back. Not sure where that speed limit starts, but it's coming up here in just 0.1 miles. And this is Mojave Yard we're about to pass now. There it is, South Mojave. And that's why we got to slow down as well, because we are coming through the junction. We are still a little fast, by about 5 miles per hour over speeding. And the tricky thing is, even though the speed limit has dropped significantly, we're going, it's pretty steep actually. Mojave Yard itself is on a 1% gradient. So we have to balance our speed so we can slow down, but also stay, you know, keep our momentum, which I've actually failed to do. So we're all the way down to 15 miles per hour, where we should be at 25. So still at notch 6, so we can speed up a little bit. Yep, just a quick pass through Mojave Yard, which I believe is mainly operated by Union Pacific. I've done a Union Pacific run where you have to stop here at Mojave Yard and pick up some cars, drop off some cars, and then continue down to, I believe it was LA. But alright, we have now passed that. I'm actually going to get the distance counter turned on. So you can see here, distance counter is now on, counting down from 5,200 feet, which is the length of our train. So once that gets to 0, we'll know that we've passed that 45 mile per hour sign, and we can actually speed up to 45 miles an hour.
9279 clear Dover, southbound north clear, like connection.
Alright, so the end of our train has passed that 45 mile per hour sign, which means we are now cleared to go 45 miles per hour max speed. But as you can see, we are actually slowing down. We're at 20 miles per hour and we are not accelerating. This is one of those parts of our route today where that horsepower per ton really will make a difference. Yeah, I mean, because right now we're full notch 8 right now, and we're just kind of equalizing here at 20 miles per hour. I think it'll eventually will get a little bit better. We do have a 2% gradient right now coming out of Mojave, heading, which I believe is northbound. But yeah, yeah, she's chugging. You can hear her screaming. I can feel it as well in the butt kicker in my seat. My chair is vibrating from the engine growling. But we're just gonna stay here at notch 8. Hopefully we get enough tractive effort and traction with these 6 locomotives to get us through this section, which we should. We know that we're above the minimum horsepower per ton, so we shouldn't have an issue. We might slow down a little bit, but we shouldn't have an issue.
91, we've got a limited clear soup. We're crossing over 2 to 1. Limited clear. 92, we got a clear for the Golden Glaze.
Doswell and clear at Doswell. Bye-bye. North Doswell and Doswell's clear for Amtrak 97.
91, we got a clear Northwood, clear.
And the highest grade we've had to traverse so far is plus 2.35. You can see the end of our train back there behind us. There's an empty tank car back there, and there's our mid DPUs there. And we also have the big wind turbines back here as we're still creeping past Mojave at the moment. Still going up that big hill. And we do have some interesting mountains coming up. We have, obviously it doesn't look that great, I'll admit that, but as far as just this part of the route, this is kind of where it starts to get a little challenging. We have this grade here. We also have the Tehachapi Pass, which is a very famous area, a very famous part of the route, but it is also fairly challenging with the grades going up and down and whatnot. So we'll do our best to manage that as best we can. We'll try my best not to derail or stall out. At this point, it's all up to just trying to keep our momentum as much as we can. I don't think we're in much fear of the train itself ripping apart or anything like that. We're in notch 8. We'll probably leave it there in notch 8. The track speed has come down to 35, but we can't even get that fast at the moment, so it's not an issue at all. We're just gonna be going uphill for a while, and hopefully, actually, I'm confident. I'm not gonna say hopefully. I'm confident we'll make it through here without any issues, but we probably will just have to get slowed down a bit. Another really good resource for people who play Run 8 is the Depot Train Tracker. I use this all the time. Every time I play, I use this map because it actually allows you to see the track laid on top of an actual map. If I zoom out, you can see we're here on the southwest part of the United States. There are DLCs that allow you to play Run 8 over in Atlanta, Georgia, and Florida area, in Pennsylvania, New York. We are obviously in Southern California, but this is all of the available track that Run 8 provides right now for Southern California, all the way up to Fresno, California, down to LA, Anaheim, San Bernardino, Victoria, Glendale, that whole area. And then over here, you can go all the way as far east as almost Flagstaff, basically over in Arizona. So a lot of track. You can spend hours on hours on hours. It'll take you probably multiple days to run from end to end. I mean, we're talking a lot of hours. We're only driving today from Barstow, which is just over here, across the Mojave Desert, past Edwards Air Force Base, and the Mojave Junction, which we just passed. There's Tehachapi Airport and the Tehachapi Pass, and then it's going to bring us all the way up to Bakersfield, California right here. So this is a bit of a shorter route than what we could have done, but I think it's a good one to get our feet wet. I meant to show this map earlier in the video, but I forgot. But this is where we are right now, climbing up the hill, and we have much more climbing to do. Alright, as you saw back there, we're just passing the town of Tehachapi, and we have a new speed limit of 23, which I am trying to slow down to using the dynamic brakes. You can see their dynamic brakes are now on at their max dynamic brakes. A lot of load here in the lead locomotive, and you can actually tell. One thing that's really cool about Run 8 is that when you look out in the distance in front of you, you can actually see the elevation changes, which you don't, normally see in a lot of train sims. So we're gonna slowly pull back on that dyno right there. We have a negative 1.2 gradient starting now, and we have not gotten to the actual Tehachapi Pass yet. So that's still coming up. We're just now passing the city, but it looks like there's going to be a bit of a downhill portion before we get there. But we're going to go ahead and get back on the dynamic brake. We don't want to pull back too much. This is where it's going to be really important to manage our speed. As you can see, it wants to jump up in speed very quickly. We're still over speeding. We're still a little fast. If we can get down to like 20, that'd be good. That'll be good. So on dynamic brakes, watching our speed here. Still all green, all clear, signals ahead, and looking forward to driving through the Tehachapi Pass, hopefully at speed limit. There's a detector right there. We're about to drive over now. Looking good so far. Milepost 35905, and we'll start bringing that throttle back, or dynamic brake, I should say, back, and try to find a sweet spot here as we are going down the grade. You have to look behind. Look at that. You can see, like I said, you can see the grade, the elevation changing. Wow. That is cool. That is cool. All right, we're at 23. It's a very specific speed limit here. 23 miles per hour. 23. No more, no less. I think I found the sweet spot on the dynamic brakes as we are approaching the most famous piece of track probably in all of North America, the Tehachapi Pass. You see there's a train there on the left tied down there, just sitting there in the tunnel. Let's take a look.
Back 92, 79, clear 865, south lane DDF, over.
And what's made this section of track so famous is the fact that what's going to happen is, you see down there, we're going to actually drive over this hump and then back down in a very tight circle and drive right underneath the back of our train, which is why you see that train that we're driving by right now. This is the same train up here that's down there. And that is why this is so famous. You see a lot of great photos and videos online. If you had never heard of it, look it up, the Tehachapi Pass. A pretty cool section of track here in the United States.
Clear approaching on 1, 53 out, 52 out.
Let's see, 225 to approach 10 forward.
Man, that was so cool. So cool. Love driving through the Tehachapi Pass. I don't know why it's so cool to be able to drive underneath yourself and see both the front and the back of the train looping around so tightly. But anyways, we still have a little ways to go. We've been on the road for, what's that, almost 3 hours. So we probably have, I don't know, another hour or two to go. I don't know if we're going to actually take 6 hours. I don't know. We'll see. But we've still got a train to deliver to Bakersfield. And I'm going to do my best to maintain our speed as we go down the hill. Track speed still 23. And the hardest part is probably not over just yet, I don't think. We'll see. We'll manage it. We'll manage it.
Total 402 axles. PTC is operable. 13,117 tons and 5928 on the link.
Check it out, and going on about 4 actual hours later since we left Barstow, we are now in Bakersfield. We're actually in the Union Pacific Bakersfield yard. We need to get over to the BNSF Bakersfield yard, as you know. So we got Kern Junction right up ahead of us. Lots of freight here for Union Pacific on the right. You'll see off in the distance there's some Union Pacific and Southern Pacific freight out there. But this has already given us the green light to make a left turn here across the junction. It is going to be a quiet zone, so we can't use the horn too much, but we can use the bell. We're limited to 20 miles per hour
signal here at 874.
here as we pass the junction. There we go. And nobody's coming, so that's good. Pretty quiet day today on the railroad here in Southern California. And there we are, hitting the junction right now. We are almost there. Beautiful.
Track 92, loco 7.
Now, you see, the interesting thing about getting into Bakersfield Yard is there's no actual, like, dispatch signal to get us in there. So we actually have to hit this manual switch right here, which we have to make sure not to forget to put back in place, or else we could cause other players on the server to have a derailment. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it on either side here. I've already checked. There is no one coming. And we'll hit that switch. We'll run up here and we'll hit this one. There we go. And just a couple more. We'll hit this one. And it'll be straight on this track. And arrival 2 should be the one right next to this guy. So left turn here. And then that track's already lined up in our favor. You can look down the track right there and you can see we have wide open track. Nothing's in the way. Perfect. And there it is off our right. There is the Bakersfield Amtrak station. Now, in Run 8, they do have passenger trains. There is an Amtrak train that you can run if that's what you want to do. I personally don't really prefer running passenger ops on Run 8 at the moment. It's just really not satisfying to me. But what is satisfying is finishing a run like this. Starting off in Barstow and then ending in Bakersfield. What actually makes it even more sweet is that everything is kind of, this whole world has been created and maintained by human beings. What do I mean by that? I mean, this train that we're running right now, this Barstow to Bakersfield train, was built by an actual person, right? Like someone in Barstow, the yard master, an actual person. Again, this is a multiplayer server for the Depot Plus, and it was built by an actual person over in Barstow. He spent the time to put this train together, put the locomotives in the front, put the power on there, and then he tagged it, and then basically put into the operations center, which the depot has, and said, hey, this train needs to go to Bakersfield. I then went to the operations center. I saw that this train was available and that it needed to go to Bakersfield. I was like, all right, I could do that. And so I picked it up, I crewed it, as we call it, and now we're driving it to Bakersfield. But that is not where it ends, and this is why I really enjoy Run 8 multiplayer, especially on the Depot Plus server. And that is because once we get here, I'm gonna park this train in the Bakersfield yard, and yes, I could go and I could, you know, I could do the next step, but I'm not going to. That's the end of my job. My shift is gonna be over. So basically, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna park it in Bakersfield, and then I'm not sure when it's gonna happen. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. But someone else, when they get on the server, whoever it is that manages Bakersfield Yard, is going to see this train has arrived in Bakersfield Yard, and be, all right, I need to chop this train up into multiple new jobs. Some of those jobs will be local trains going to small little industries in Bakersfield area and surrounding areas, or it might be put onto another longer train and sent to some other city somewhere. But no matter what, everything you see, every freight car you see in the server has somewhere to be and has a purpose, and I think that's why I really enjoy Run 8, and especially Run 8 with the Depot Plus server. Now yes, you could do that exact same thing on single player. Every single freight car has somewhere it needs to be, somewhere it needs to go, and that's why doing these drives from A to B, to me, seems like more than just driving. Like, I'm not here for the scenery. Like, no, come on, I'm not here for the scenery. I'm not here for any of that. I'm here because I enjoy the driving experience, the challenge of that, and also the knowing that I'm a small piece to a much bigger puzzle, a much bigger operation. And this is a 24/7 operation. It keeps going over and over. But here we are approaching the yard lead here, and we have almost made it, looking like it's going to be going on right about 4 hours total. So we got here 2 hours earlier than I personally expected. I thought it was going to be a 6-hour trip. Turned out to be around 4 instead. Speed's looking good though, as we're now rolling into the yard. But yeah, it's really cool. I do enjoy Run 8. I've been playing it for a little while now, trying to learn. I'm not an expert in any way. I'm never gonna claim that, but I really enjoy the operation side of train sim. And the thing too that is cool about Run 8 is that, like I said, every freight car has somewhere to be. All these freight cars you see here in this yard right now either have just been delivered here, or they're being blocked or split up or organized to be put on another train to go to their destination. Their destination may be to the customer, which may be an industry nearby, or it could be where, who knows, right? It could be freaking Pennsylvania, all I know. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's the operations side, and so it's not just going from A to B, but it's going to A to B, but then your train still has a purpose in the server. This train is not going to disappear. It's not going to delete itself. It's just going to sit here until the next person comes to Bakersfield and does whatever is next on the agenda for this train. And again, if I want to do that step, I could do that myself too. I prefer not to do it in this particular case.
West Check Yard, out.
Yo, 91 and tracking 204 north, clear. Stop.
And we're gonna bring it here to the end of the track just before the switch, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed this drive. I'm definitely interested and down to do more. Great suggestion by you guys. You've been asking me a long time to try out Run 8. If you've never heard of Run 8, and this sounds really cool, really interesting to you, you can check out run8studios, I believe.com to download the game. And if you're interested in this multiplayer server that we're on right now, this is the Depot server or something like that.com. You can check them out. One of the best servers right now for Run 8. Didn't really get to showcase it all too much today. Sometimes they do have dispatch on. Sometimes there's a lot of people online. Not a lot of people online today. But I've met some really great people. Very friendly, welcoming community. Always willing to help. And I've learned a lot from these guys and girls. Well, anyways, guys, we have made it. We have arrived in Bakersfield. Brakes are set. You can hear the pipes cranking up there. We're going to set our independent brake. We'll set our reverser to neutral, kill the bell, turn the lights off, and we'll tie it down, aka we'll set the hand brakes. Wow, we made it. This video has been a long time coming. Hopefully it didn't end up being too long, the video itself, but sometimes it's really hard to cut stuff out because I'm so interested, I'm so passionate about it. So hopefully if you made it this far in the video, you share the same passion and interest that I do. I love me some American freight trains, and I think if you like that, this is the absolute best game for you to try. But anyways, if you have any questions, anything, you want to run together, you can do multi-crew drive, whatever, I don't know, hit me up. I can't make promises that I can actually do any of that stuff, but definitely let me know what you guys want to see next. Run 8 Train Simulator, again, in my opinion, the most realistic American freight train sim to ever exist. And I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. We made it. We made it here safely. No derailments, no issues, and we got here early. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 9107 out. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you have 3 choices: give up, give in, or give it all. You got peace, love, and God bless you. I'll see you guys next time, next video. And don't worry, I will go back and reset those switches. I'm out.